on every solstice, you all receive a big download and transmission of information and energy. And as that information comes in, it has a specific job. So it's like a big packet of information and energy that you then will spend a period of time accessing, integrating, processing, and working with. So this transmission specifically is going to interact with your first chakras, and it's going to, as you were saying, Rob, deactivate any and all implants that you can at this time deactivate in your first chakras. So you go through this series of deactivations as part of your integration and reascension process, and there's only so far all of you can go. You can't get too far beyond what mass consciousness is doing or what Earth itself is doing, or you could no longer stay in the 3D game in its current formation. So we know this is frustrating for a lot of you. As you hear this, we know you've often felt that in your own bodies, this frustration where you're remembering being able to do all of these amazing things, and you're having these glimpses currently of being able to access this kind of technology, and you feel frustrated that you can't just rip the Band-Aid off all at once, so to speak, and step into your fifth dimensional vibratory rate and operate as the sovereign being fully that you truly are, who manifests instantaneously and teleports and is fully consciously telepathic and on and on. But the truth is, if you were to do that right now, if you were to fully engage in that way, you couldn't stay on planet Earth. You couldn't stay in the game. This is a game of integration and reascension, and it's a game that's being played out in stages. So on this transmission, on this solstice, as this transmission comes in, what you're really going to become aware of, and this is the most exciting piece for all of you, is you're going to experience a visceral understanding in your bodies that you are free. Now, that's a truth that you accessed theoretically, intellectually, that you began to understand in your mental bodies and somewhat even in your emotional bodies at the end of 2012 on that winter solstice transmission of energy. That when that transmission came in, you became theoretically aware of the truth that your enslavement contracts with the Anunnaki had expired. That's what happened there at the end of 2012. That's the big deal about 2012, is you went from being a slave species to a free species. Now, so process that piece, all of you, and let yourselves really kind of feel the importance of that. So what's been occurring for the last few years is you've been getting used to this idea of yourselves as free. And you've also been in the process over the last few years of renegotiating your contracts with the Anunnaki. Because it's not like your story with the Anunnaki is over. It's just that those contracts are up for renegotiation. So as this download comes in on Sunday for all of you and activates you in your first chakras, Mrs. Nora Zoe is very excited about this piece of information. She is on her back on the couch rolling around.
Aww.
All right, this is the Pleiadians again. As you receive this transmission of information and energy and begin to viscerally understand yourselves as the sovereign beings you truly are, you're going to then begin to take bigger steps in your day-to-day realities towards your own freedoms. You'll notice, all of you, that you've been not okay with many things in your reality for a very long time. But one of the reasons why you haven't felt you have the energy to really do anything about it, you know, where you were running underneath perhaps a thought where you said, well, that's kind of just the way it is. Well, the reason you didn't have that energy is because you were enslaved. So a slave can't really clear up the issue that they're upset with because they're feeling enslaved in the first place. So there's disassociation from power and inability to actually do anything about it. That's all changing for all of you right now. All of these things that you look at and that push buttons where you say, I really don't want to be agreeing to these kinds of realities any longer, these kinds of experiences. You're going to feel in your body now like you can actually do something, like you can shift and change and alter the way things are done here on your world, because you'll be accessing the freedom to construct your reality. You're no longer living in the box of enslavement. It's gigantic. And the events that play out over the course of the summer months, there really is the opportunity for some big social, economic, political movements to occur. And you may look back on this summer and really see it as pivotal in your change there on planet Earth collectively. So we're going to recommend to all of you that on the moment of the solstice, whenever that occurs for you, that you find yourself a quiet space, that you put yourself in a receptive state, that you inhale that transmission in consciously and exhale it, feel it moving into your first chakra, and of course all of your chakras, because you're not just running enslavement programs in your first chakra. Those enslavement programs and implants exist throughout your entire energetic matrix, but this one's really targeting that first chakra so you can begin to physically alter your reality, and you've already done a lot of those implant deactivations in your upper chakras. That's why we can even have this conversation with you in the first place, and all of you can say, yeah, that's right. I already get that I'm no longer a slave. I see the truth in that. I see my power now that I'm a universal being of love and light, but I still haven't felt like I have real access to it. This solstice brings you into that access point. And it doesn't mean that everything's magically going to right itself in your reality, because what would be the fun in that? You're still playing out a story with timelines here, so you're still going to have adventures, and you're still going to be in an evolutionary process, but you're going to feel freer in that process.